Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet fan here, and I'm excited to be back here live to talk awesome anime with you guys. But as always, I am not here by myself. I am here with the one, the only, the howling Isaac Wolf. What is up, man?
Wolf.
Nice, nice. That was I
Yeah.
think for you that's considered like a normal a normal greeting that you out of nowhere come out with Wolf. But then again, it
Yes.
falls with the topic, right?
Yeah. And can we all agree that it's nice that Nintendo finally taken their time a cue from Sega and give Mario his own Super Saiyan form.
Come again? What's going on?
Didn't you?
So
Did-
some reason,
didn't you watch?
we went from wolves to anime to Super Saiyan Mario.
Didn't you see the Bowser's Fury trailer?
That's like, oh yeah, I saw. That's like the new expansion for the Super Mario 3D World that's coming out on Switch.
Yes. And people
Yes.
calling that Super.
Yeah, and for some reason, it couldn't just be Super Saiyan Mario. It had to be Super Saiyan Mario Kitty. That's what stands out. I don't know if this is like giving power to the pussy. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but
Oh.
but at this point, is that like the strongest power up in that game? Is that what it is?
The theme, the power, the new power up theme in the original is catsuit. So
Okay, so like that's like the new high end power up, the cat suit.
in the 3D world, yes. And guess what the Japanese name for this form for Bowser?
What's
Guess
the name?
Japanese God Slayer Bowser.
Why is that important? Why is the fact that it's God Slayer important?
I have no idea, but that's
You think that's also like a comment to Dragon Ball Super with the fact that now they have all these gods of destruction on there, and now he's a Super Saiyan kitty, and I don't know.
I have no idea. And the Western translated version is Mega Fury Furry Bowser or something like that. And it is that's lame.
Yes, I gotta agree with you. That's like the worst translation ever. Like if it's God Slayer Bowser, damn it, it's God Slayer Bowser. Okay. I mean, but let's be honest. When I looked at the trailer, he mostly looks like, for some reason, he reminds me of Mega Evolution Charizard more than anything. You know what I mean? Like it's all black. It has
the
like
dragon
fire.
one because
Yeah.
Yes, he has two
Yes.
versions.
Well, yeah, the dragon one, the one that's all black and blue. It reminds me of Mega Evolution's Charizard. Like you got the whole black tones, and then you have like the fire coming out directly from the sides of its mouth. It's
Funny
But
that
no.
you mentioned Pokemon. Funny mention Pokemon because people joke that Super Mario is doing Dynamax.
Well,
Which-
that's technically what's happening. But you know what? To be fair, and we really have to get back on topic. But this is a good conversation. But to be fair, the kings and starters of getting and becoming bigger, it's Super Mario. They started
Yeah.
that shit. They're the ones with the magic mushroom, and they're the ones with the growth serum or the growth as part of what their game is about. Like that's like their normal thing. So I don't know why people are crying and saying that no, they're not. That's not what's happening. They're not. That's not what's still going on. Actually, I think if anything, Pokemon took
Dude,
that from
dude,
them.
dude, people are hyped about that one. They are not crying. That was just smoke of a joke thing they're calling it.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm used to. So I think I'm still at I'm having some PTSD from 2020. So I feel like people are still complaining about everything.
Let's go on with Wolf Children. We can talk about it. We can talk about that game when it comes out.
Yes. Now you mentioned the name. We're going to talk about a movie today. It's not a show. It's not a series. We're going to talk about an anime film today. And in this particular anime film, what drew me to it when I mentioned it to you, Isaac, is because we know of Studio Ghibli, right? So we know about Hayao
Yes.
Miyazaki's and all those great authors and directors of that studio. But we know that they don't hold the market for amazing anime films. Another author and director that we've covered here before is Makoto Shinkai, which we covered Your Name, and we also covered a little bit. I think it was early, sometimes during fall of last year, we covered The Girl Who Left Through Time, which is a fantastic movie by Mamoru Hosoda, and I was amazed when I started looking into the movie. It's not a bibliography. When I looked at the resume of Asura and all the different movies that he has directed or written on, and all of them look very interesting. So I decided to pick this one that's called Wolf Children. So this is the second movie by Mamoru Hosoda that we covered. The first one we did was The Girl Who Left Through Time. I'll make sure to add the link to the description whenever this video and this episode posts. Um, but I felt that his stuff was pretty good, and we should need to cover. Just like I know that you're dying to receive your copy of Weathering with You, so we can also cover another Makoto Shinkai movie.
Didn't we cover Wondering with You?
No, we did Your Name. We only did Your Name. We haven't done Weathering with You yet. So because I think you were trying to get your hands on a copy. So, or did we do Weathering with You? I don't remember. You know what?
Let me check the archive.
I know. Well, we'll check the archive. We'll verify the archive, and if we've done it, we'll put it in the link in the description. But out of all the movies that he has made, we decided to go with Wolf Children. I am gonna say I saw the trailer for Summer Wars, and we definitely have to do that. That one looks awesome. But yes, so we're gonna talk about Wolf Children today.
I reviewed it for the site, but we didn't do it for the Amateur Otaku, what I can find at least.
Oh, so I think we need to cover it soon. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Mamoru Hosoda's Wolf Children. This movie came out back in 2012. It is the first movie by Studio Chizu, which is a studio that he helped found. And it is the first movie that he directed that he also wrote the story for. So there's a personal movie more than one aspect for Osoda, because he actually wrote the story that then was used to write the screenplay of it. So that's pretty cool. I just saw it today for the first time. Have you seen this movie before?
Once.
One for the pod or once before?
Once before.
Okay. What was your first impression?
It hits like a truck. Is that a good option of word?
Hits like a truck. Jumps like a truck. No, that's not. That's bad. Now, why do you say that? In because of its realism, or because it's not one of those movies because most of the times when people say this movie hits me like a truck, it makes it sound like the movie's tragic, and I can't really say or wrap my head around the idea of this being a tragic movie, because I don't think it is. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's emotional, but I wouldn't consider it tragic. Why does it hit you like a truck?
I mean, it is rather emotional with a certain part that happens in the beginning that.
Yep.
I mean, I can't. We can. Have you? You haven't done the synopsis yet, right?
I'm gonna do the synopsis in a minute, but don't worry.
I take that after the synopsis then.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in and just do the synopsis real quick. I'm gonna a quick summary of what the movie's all about, and then we're gonna jump in it. There are gonna be mild spoilers. We're gonna try and keep it as low spoilery as we can, because we do want you guys to go experience this movie by yourselves. But we want to also give you a complete picture of what to expect, and so that you can make a decision on whether or not this movie is for you. Because as you know, that's what we do here at the Amateur Otaku. We'll review and cover anime shows and films to give you enough information so that you can make a decision whether or not this is something that you want to check out. And if you guys love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit the like button and share with your friends and click on the bell for notifications so you do not miss any live streams, any episodes of the Amateur Otaku Podcast. It's available on YouTube and it's available on everywhere for podcasts. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and everywhere that you want to listen to stuff. Um, hello,
Hello,
hello, my good
Michael.
friend Mike, the Nova Cinephile. What's up, man? Thank you for joining us. I think you'll love this episode. Thank you for joining us, man. As you guys know, we always go live everywhere on Periscope. We go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So wherever you're checking us out, if you have any questions about anime in general, send us a comment, because we'll see the comments and we'll reference it on the show. If you have any questions for us or any comments, let us know. We'll always cover it at the end, unless it's pertinent to the discussion that we're having. If not, we'll cover it at the end of the show, because at the end of the day, we want to start conversations with you guys. So without further ado, let me go ahead and start with
Hello,
this.
Leo.
Yo, yo, yo. Let's start with this synopsis. So, here's a synopsis for Wolf Children. Hana is a 19-year-old college girl that meets a young man who surprises her with his kind heart. As the seasons of the year flow, they fall in love, and under a beautiful starry night, he reveals to Hana his biggest secret. He is a wolfman. Hannah smiles and surrenders to the man that she loves and his truth. They start a beautiful life together and have two half human, half wolf children, a girl, Yuki, and a boy, Ame. Shortly after Ame's birth, her husband dies unexpectedly, and Hana finds herself raising their two kids on her own. Wolf Children follows Hana as she journeys through life as a single mother of two very unique children. How does she ensure that they're safe? How can she teach them to be human? How can she teach them to be wolves and to fend for themselves? But more than anything, how does she help her kids find their own way and place in the world? This is Wolf Children, based on a story by Mamoru Hosoda, who is also the director of the film, and produced by Studio Chizu. So I think I just went ahead and said the moment you were saying, Isaac, and it's that it follows us. The main character here is Hana, which is the young 19-year-old girl that falls in love with the Wolfman, and gives birth, and they have these two children, Ame and Yuki. And when the second kid is born, the Wolfman, her husband, dies unexpectedly. And it's her journey as a single mother through life with these kids. And I think that if we were to stop the video right now and just say that, that's enough information for you to know what this movie's about. And but there's so much of this movie that's so good, because as it is to be expected of a journey like this is a movie that takes place in scenes, in moments of their lives, and the decision that this mother has to make, the way she goes about them, the way she teaches her kids. And I love this movie. I think it's a very well done, very heartwarming movie. And Isaac, you were talking about how this film hit you like a truck, and you were going to talk about the Wolfman's death. So go ahead.
Because I don't want to go into details, but it just it's in go on
You sure? Now,
yeah.
I would actually encourage you, Isaac. I mean, this kind of movie. I mean, we can talk about simple details, and it won't really be spoilery because it's one of those movies that is not about twists or turns or changes. It's one of those movies that feels almost autobiographical, graphical. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
story that you've seen before. So I wouldn't be afraid about spoiling things in the terms of just describing moments that pluck your heartstrings, because for people that love this kind of movie, that's literally someone telling a story, they're going to enjoy it all the same because the way it's drawn, the way it's performed, actually builds up moments to make them mean something. And while you catch your idea again, I did want to mention this. So I was reading something from our good friends at Wikipedia. Have you given your $2 now? So so I was looking the Wikipedia page on Wolf Children, and I was able to read some notes, some articles and interviews that they did to Osoda about the film. And what inspired him to make this film was the fact that a lot of the people around him, as he was during the times that, like 5 years before he wrote the film, were starting to have kids, and he started to see how raising kids started to change his friends, started to change the way they reacted, how they how they carried themselves, and he wanted to be able to show the world a story where people could see that kids don't just grow up and become people. Like there's someone there that molds kids. There's someone there that needs to be an influence, that whether they decide to or not. And he wanted to capture that idea of the role of the father and how the decisions that they make and the inner struggles that they go through to be able to guide their kids. And I think that's something that he was able to capture in spades, because throughout the entire film you literally, in so many moments, like it's weird because most of the times you're looking at the film as a movie, right, where you see all the characters interact and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah.
there's certain changes in perspective that occur throughout the film and in certain scenes that you literally feel that you're looking at the kids through Hana's eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's like he's purposely wanting you to see the kids as if they were your kids, as if you were a parent and you were the one making decisions and dealing with the situation. So it's a movie that does a very good job on switching perspectives and making you feel those shifts in perspective, which is really hard to do with animation in this way. And I like it that it's not like something that just happens once. Especially like there's some moments that you see on the trailers where when Yuki is very small and she starts like complaining like I want to do this, I want to do this, and then goes around and want to do this, and then she becomes a wolf. You know what I mean? Like when she starts like tantruming, how you
Yeah.
literally, that's one of those perfect examples where you're seeing Yuki through the eyes of her mother. And I don't know, man. I think it's just such a simple idea that he was able to develop into this wonderful film. And also, apart from showing that perspective, he wanted to do it in a way that nobody saw before, which is why he picked the kids to be werewolves. That's why he's picked the kids to be wolf children, because it would either it would also it will make it would have his goal was to make the movie more accessible to everybody, but also make it an experience that no one could relate to entirely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that take?
I think you're absolutely right because um, it's um, it's a sort of feel like, how should I put it? If I didn't know better, this could have been kind of like him telling the story from a perspective of telling knows um, telling the story of someone he knows and just switch around some parts with
Right.
the supernatural part, which in this case being the Wolfman aspect, and and just to give it its own flair, sort of like the whole Anahan and the flower we saw that day. You can argue that with the exception of them seeing a ghost and all that. Yes, it could be. It's very possible that childhood friends reconnect because of an anniversary of a dead friend or family member. That's not that's
Right.
not nothing out of the blue.
Yep.
So this is when I send you the notes. I said this is where I wouldn't say relatable, but very realistic. Even though it contains the fantastical element, so to speak.
100%. 100%. 100%. And I like the fact that you bring that that even though it has the fantastical elements, that you have these kids that can become wolves. Um, Apart from that, it feels very grounded. You know what I mean? Like you have all the normal struggles that a parent would face. Like she's trying to find a way so that their kids have a place where they can feel free, where they can, they can feel loved, they can be accepted, and her having to deal with the compromises that her kids growing up bring to her life. You know what I mean? Like she thinks she needs to be living life a certain way, but as her kids grow up, she has to make different decisions because the needs of the kids change. You know what I mean? Like, and as their needs change, she has to make different decisions. Like when Yuki has to go to school and stuff like that, and the way she teaches them how not to become wolves and stuff like that. Um, I think it's very. I think there's a lot of parents that can see this. I'm not a parent. I know that,
And then,
and so I'm not a parent, so I can't say that I know what that feels like. But I can only see it from the perspective of me, which is as a kid, as a child, because I know I know I wasn't the easiest kid to raise. Not that I was a,
you were a Dennis the Menace. Huh?
no, not that, but I was very opinionated. Let's put it that way. And the idea that I know now as an adult that my mom did the best that she could with the instruments that she had available. With the tools that she had in her hands, and the way that she would compromise just to have conversations with me and try to understand me and stuff like that. So that was something that was very powerful to me, especially now as I grew up, that I value the fact that she would find ways of communicating with me and connecting with me as I grew up, as I changed, because she only saw the world in the way that she saw it, but she would always try and find ways to see it the way I did, which is the most powerful thing I think about this movie, is the fact that even though she went through so much pain with the loss of her husband, even though that she missed him, she saw her kids as part of her joy, and and even though like most mothers, their joy and completion was to make sure that she could do what she could for them. And it's crazy how in the case of her kids is that because they were so different, because they were wolf children, because they were so different, um, she often felt, and we see her struggles, we see everything that she did, like all the things and all the obstacles that she overcame to give them the best life, that even that she wasn't sure if she did everything she could. You know what I mean? And I think most parents are like that in a way. Most parents are like that in a way where they give and do the best they can for their kids, but a lot of times they can't really tell if they're doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which I like that I like that was one of those things that he was able to capture in the film and in the story. The idea that a lot of parents feel that they have no idea what they're doing, and that's okay. And sometimes that's okay, because it's not about knowing what you're doing. And of course, I'm not trying to give a class on parenthood. I'm not a dad. But it's like, like in a lot of things in life, it's not about knowing what you're doing. is about pushing yourself and doing everything you can to do the best you can.
Sort
Sometimes
of
in
like,
life, go ahead.
what's his name again? Like Robert Patton Powler said, learning by it's sort of like in to make it short, learning by doing and pushing forward. Yeah, like you said,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you don't have when people when their first baby is plopping out from the mother, they don't have.
Plopping.
Okay, that was a weird way to.
No, no, don't worry. I think we all got it. Hashtag
Yeah,
plopping.
you don't have any handbook. Because sure, you have the closest thing you have as a guideline is your own childhood and remember how your parents
Yeah.
raised you. But even then, in that's not exactly your childhood won't be identical to your kid's childhood because circumstances and that have occurred that occurs
Right.
currently.
Right. 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 And I think the biggest this one of the biggest things is that I think that this movie shines in a way that very few, like the best. Okay, let me look for the words here. In comparison to a lot of movies that we see in general, not just anime movies, this is what you would consider a very quiet movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like, this is not a movie about explosions or big events or this is a movie, this is a slice of life movie. It's all about capturing moments in life. And I love how this movie is a very strong film because the characters in it are so strong, like, and so interesting. And because in reality, you only have three characters in this film. You have, like, you maybe have five characters, but you really only have three, which is Hana, the mother, Yuki and Ame, the kids, the boy and the girl. Because you have the Wolfman in the beginning, which he's charming. Which is, can I talk about that a little bit? How he kind of demystifies the idea of the werewolf, because one of the first things that happens in the film when he's introduced, when the werewolf is introduced, like, the first thing that comes out there is the fact that everything you see, like, the first thing that they mention is everything you've seen in movies about monsters and moons and this killing people, all that's a lie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, from the get-go, he makes it a point to tell you this is not this kind of story. Like, this is not Twilight, you know. You know what I mean? Like, this is not what this story is. This is a
I
story about.
do wonder, however, why he decided to go with wolf children of all things.
But you know what's funny? I don't know. I think that one of the things that might be interesting is that the type. I think it's a type of nobleness that's assembled by wolves. And I think we're more used to. That's the kind of animal I think we're more used to be a changeling. You know what I mean? I think the werewolf is more worldwide known than, like, saying that he becomes a dog or he becomes an eagle. You know what I think? You know what I mean? I think it was more of an accessibility thing. Like, you can go anywhere in the world and everybody knows what a werewolf is and has a notion. Now, apart from the fact that, I don't think this has anything to do with it, but apart from the fact that one of the more popular animes, I think, from years before that. Let me see when that show came out. One of the more popular animes that have to do with changings and stuff like that. The anime took place, yeah, back in 2003, was Wolf Train. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah, we should cover that one day.
We should. We should. We should. That's a very sad but interesting anime. But yeah, so I think it's more of a accessibility thing because most people know what that is. But I like how the first thing he does is he demystifies the idea, like we're not showing you a werewolf for you to treat it like a mystery. No, 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 no. All that you know in movies, that's not real. That's not what this is. You know what I mean? Like this is all about the story of this woman and the love, and I like how as soon as that happens, you're not thinking about the fact that she's in love with a wolf man and made love to a wolf. All you think about is the connection between these two beings, and you don't care whether or not they're wolves or not. And that's just it's not even a MacGuffin. It's just a characteristic of the story. You know what I mean? Like instead of because you know how most movies like introduce like a fantasy element and they just double down on that element so much that it distracts you from the actual story they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
You know what? And I love how this movie does not do that. They use it as an element and they keep on going, they keep on moving, and it works so well. Um, Now, can we talk about the narration?
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts. I think it was so interesting that the narrator of the story wasn't just any narrator. The narrator of the story is Yuki, the oldest daughter. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I think that makes sense because sort of like this. How should I put it? This felt like the how should I put it? Wolf got my tongue or what? It's like sure we see a lot of the whole story within her eyes, but so like you said, when the daughter gets temper tantrum and all that jazz, she turns into a wolf. But at the same time, other elements is clearly told from a third person perspective and sort of like a narrator perspective. And the best option for a narrator in this story is arguably the daughter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and to me what makes it so interesting, the fact that it is the daughter that's making this conversation happen or narrating the story is because it's like nobody really talks, like parents don't necessarily talk about their exploits. They don't talk about what what sacrifices they've had to make, or unless it's brought up. You know what I mean? Like a father or a parent doesn't walk around pounding his chest for being the best dad in the world. Like those parents that stand out are those that their kids talk about them. Their kids talk about their moms. Their kids talk about their dads. You know what I mean? Like the kid in the
Yeah,
elementary school that makes a picture of their mom, and it's like her being a particular child because she's half wolf, half human. And by the end of the movie, which is one of the most beautiful things that I want to talk about at the end, is the idea of them finding their own way. By the end of the movie, she's in a place where she feels good, complete. She look. It's literally Yuki looking back at her life and seeing that she's gotten to the place that she has gotten to now because of her mother, because of the decisions that she made, because of the efforts and the tirelessness and the tireless attempt of doing everything they can to take care of their kids, take care of her. And like for example, my parents are the same. Like nowadays, like if I want to know about what they went through, I have to ask them. They will never tell me, but I can still go back at looking at my mom, and I can see that she worked a full-time job and didn't come for the first, I think, for like 5 years while I was in middle school. She would go to work 8 to 5, but she wouldn't come back to the house till 10 p.m. because after work she would go Monday to Friday to college to get her bachelor's degree. And she did that while working, while taking care of us. And there were days that I wouldn't see my mom for almost 12 hours. And I would only really see her on the weekends because she was in school. And the idea that now I can see that she did that for me. You know what I mean? Like, what a better narrator of a parent's exploits than the kid that has made it to the other side because of that. Um,
Exactly.
and I think that's just powerful. Like, that's just a powerful and very wise selection, to tell this story. And I also like that the narration is not overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, it's not useless exposition. It's just you hear it like in random places in the movie, and it's in very short bursts, very short moments. Like, he does a lot of visual storytelling, and like, there's not a huge amount of dialogue on this movie. Like, there's dialogue, right, but it's mostly about scene after scene and capturing an idea and moving on, you know. And
Yeah.
I think the movie, for being almost 2 hours long, the movie has great pacing. It doesn't drag, and I don't know. It's awesome.
It's 117 minutes long, to be exact.
Yeah. So it's almost 2 hours, but it doesn't feel. You know what I mean? It's a very enjoyable and brisk. You know. Um. Now, before we close, because I think we've talked a lot. The last thing I want to talk about is, let's talk over. Let's talk about the ending, and not that we're going to spoil it, but let's talk about the ending, and also why I think he chose them to be werewolves. Also, and how amazing it is to use it as a storytelling mechanic. And I don't know if you caught that, but I think there was a very on purpose, on the nose reason why he picked a boy and a girl and why he made them werewolves. Do you know why I think that is?
No.
Because if you look at the ending of the movie, the final sequences of the film is the kids finding their way, finding their path, right? And he uses the idea of them being werewolves, half man, half human, and half wolf, as the means to tell that decision and that story. Because Yuki chooses one path and Ame chooses another. And how it all closes up with the mother coming to terms with the path that each of her children chooses for themselves, which I think is the most difficult thing that a parent has to do. Like, a parent can raise a kid to do one thing, or like, they want the kid to be a doctor, or they want the kid to be a lawyer, or to make something of themselves and go to college and stuff like that. But I like how, as a mother, they cover all those bases where she doesn't know how to protect them. She gets to a point where she can actually protect them, and then she gets to a point where she has to accept that it's not about her controlling their kids' paths anymore. It's about learning to let them go. So it kind of brings the whole experience full circle. You know what I mean? And I like how the idea that they're wolf children is used to portray that, which to me was very creative, and I think makes the ending very satisfying. Did
That's
you?
actually that's actually a good point. That's an excellent analysis. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, and I think it's magical because I think that's the real magic of his storytelling because it there's so much truth in this story, and there's so many things and so many themes that he introduces and ideas that can derail the movie in so many ways, but he keeps everything so simple and so clear. Even the more fantastical elements, he makes them very simple and very clear for you to follow, that when the moments are supposed to hit you, they hit you. And like moments like that are the moments that hit me like a truck, Isaac. Like that ending hit me like a truck,
Understandable. So,
and I think
and
this is
here
a
you
movie
said,
that.
that the movie didn't hit you like a truck at the
Well,
beginning.
I also said that the only reason I asked the question is because most people that say hit me like a truck, they do that with tragic films. You know what I mean? And this is not a tragic film. This is a film, I think it's just a grounded film. So it treats the hard moments of life how they should be, hard. And it treats the happy moments of life as they should, happy. You know what I mean? It's able to take us through this flow of emotions because that's what life is. It's just an endless flow of events and moments, which is why this movie is so powerful. And again, another movie by Mamoru Hosoda that he does that I think it's awesome, and I'm really happy we covered it. So do you have anything else? I think I'm done talking about it. I think all I want to do is tell people to go see it. um
Honestly, no, I don't, because I don't really know how I should continue without just copying you or copying me.
Now, is this movie available on Vakanim over there in Scandinavia, or did you have to
Nope,
purchase it?
I had to purchase it on Science Fiction Bokhandeln.
Okay, because I had to buy it. I actually purchased it via Amazon. It wasn't available to stream anywhere that I know of. So I did have to purchase it. Let me check something
It's
here.
worth it though.
It is 100% worth it. It is 100% worth it. And I know that it's not available on Funimation either. Like the only way you can really watch it is purchasing the movie. But it is a fantastic film.
I mean, most big budget anime movies, as long as an instant Dragon Ball or something, aren't they even not available in
Yeah,
streaming service?
yeah. But the cool thing is, I mean, you can buy it on Amazon for if you want to do the Blu-ray, it's $20. If you want to do the DVD, I think you can get it for like $14. But think about it. If you want to have a good movie and you want to add Mamoru Osoda's Wolf Short into your collection, it's worth doing. At the end of the day, if you were to go to the movies to watch a film, you'll spend $15 on a ticket and then another $5 on popcorn and sit down and watch it. So you'll probably spend the same amount for two people to go see this movie in the theater, or just for you and popcorn, than it is buying it. And I'm telling you, this is the kind of film that I would strongly recommend for you to purchase. It is fantastic and a movie that anybody can watch and enjoy, especially if you love slice of life anime. You will love Wolf Children. This is definitely the movie for you, and you need to watch it. Like if you liked what have we covered? If you like Anohana, um, the flower that we never saw, and if you like Garden of Words, if you like Your Name, this is the kind of movie that you want to watch. It is really good. Um, so Isaac, I think that's it. We've talked Wolf Children. We shared it with the world. um, I think all that's left is us to say goodbye and talk about our. Well, first of all, we got to talk about our next episode, which I think is going to be pretty big. But I did want to mention one thing, which I think was pretty awesome. And this is the last piece of promotion that I'm doing for Wolf Children. Are you ready for this, Isaac? You ready for this?
Yeah.
Wolf Children is the highest grossing anime movie is the fifth highest grossing movie in 2012 when it came out on that weekend. And it came out on the same weekend as Brave and beat Brave. So
Nice.
so this movie went toe to toe with Pixar's Brave and Wolf Children won. And it's funny because both movies include children turning into animals. And Wolf Children won. Because if you remember, Brave has the kids turning into bears.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you can't go
At
wrong with
least
anime.
one anime movie won.
At least one
I
movie,
mean,
what?
at least that one got some more prestige.
Nice. Very, very
I
nice.
mean, what is it? Your Name Lost Boss Baby. What?
It lost to Demon Slayer, yes. Which is, by the way, it's funny that you mentioned that.
I wasn't
Um,
talking. I wasn't talking about income. I was talking about that year's Oscars.
Oh, yes. But then again, who cares about the Academy when they don't take into strong consideration anything that's beyond the US and UK? So,
Honestly, as long as the name isn't Hayao Miyazaki, they don't really take
which
Japanese
is sad.
animation serious.
And you know what?
Yeah,
Which is why we continue to cover movies beyond Ghibli, because there's a lot more stuff out there, right, man? There's a lot more
yeah.
stuff out there that's awesome. So go watch Wolf Children, get it on Amazon. You're not going to regret it. It's a fantastic film for you and your family, and something that needs to be in your collection. Next week, we will not be doing. We will not be doing Attack on Titan
Attack on
because,
Titan.
right, because as you guys know, we try to cover 2 episodes per recording, and next week is just going to be 1 episode. So we're going to be back with Attack on Titan. I think it's in. Let me see. We'll be back on Attack on Titan the week on the 25th of January, which is in 2 weeks. But next week, on Tuesday, the 19th, we will be back with another episode of the Amateur Otaku Podcast. And we're going to be covering one series that blew up at the beginning of 2020 and whose movie has taken Japan by storm, breaking records like crazy. Of course,
That's an understatement.
we probably won't be able to see the movie for like another year, probably, or towards the end of 2021. But we're going to cover the series. Isaac, what are we talking about next week?
Something that's slaying off boxes in Japan, like you said, and it's a demonic success. I'm talking of course, by Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. We're finally going to be covering the story of Tanjiro and Nezuko and demons and dragons of water. And this show is gorgeous, it's fantastic, and I can't wait to cover it and talk to you guys. I know you guys are really excited about this because I know there's a lot of Demon Slayer fans out there. So we're finally going to cover it in the show. We're going to talk about Demon Slayer, and then we will keep you posted on what the next anime is going to be. But next week is Demon Slayer, so you do not want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You hit that like button, share with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss any episode of the Amateur Otaku Podcast. And follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever the podcasts are you listen to your podcast with a Stitcher and stuff like that. Now, Isaac, we're going to be heading out. Where can they find you, my brother?
You can find me over at the Vobam Entertainment with my work, and you can find me on Emblemaniac over at Twitter. And I'm gonna need to get my ass off and update our Instagram, which we have, which is, let me go to Instagram and check.
I think it's at Amateur Otaku, I think.
I'm just double checking right now. The Amateur Otaku, that's right.
Awesome. And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, and as Brandon Alvarado on Facebook. And you can follow the podcast at Amateur Otaku Pod on Twitter. And if you have any questions, comments, conversations you want to have with us, make sure you send us a tweet at Amateur Otaku Pod. We'll go on there and we'll have a conversation about anime. If you have any animes that you want to recommend to us, send us a DM at Amateur Otaku Pod or send us an email, amateurOtakuRTF@gmail.com. That is amateurOtakuRTF@gmail.com. We love covering recommendations from you guys. We haven't received a recommendation in a while, but we do have one that we're saving for February from a very special listener of the show. We're not going to tell you what it is just yet, but as February gets there, we're going to let you know. But if you guys have any recommendations, send them to us. If you send us a recommendation, we're going to stop everything we're doing and we're going to cover that, because more than anything, we do this to share our love of anime with you guys, but also to start conversation with you guys on anime and to encourage you to go watch anime, because this medium is blowing up everywhere and we're really happy with what's going on, but there's still a lot of people that don't know what amazing stories and characters lie in the worlds of anime, and we don't want you to miss out. So have it awesome, guys. We will see you next week with Demon Slayer. If you like what we're doing, share this with your friends so they know what the Amateur Otaku is all about. Have it awesome, guys. Peace.
Peace.